It's that one?
Yeah, it's that one.
Okay. I gotta do some working though.
Do a bit of original.
Yeah.
I will quickly run you through how we're going to do the potatoes.
Yeah,
So
okay.
basically, we're going to dig a hole about the depth of this part of the trowel. So
Okay.
from the base to the tip of the actual like metal bit of the trowel, we're going to dig a hole about that deep. Then we're going to sprinkle a bit of compost in. Then we're going to put the potato, then a bit more compost, and then cover it up. We should be able to get about 8 potatoes in each row.
Okay.
So dig your first hole and then put the trowel down like this, and then that is where you'll dig your next hole.
Okay.
See what I mean?
Cool.
And just work in a straight line. First we're going to dig the holes, then we'll put the potatoes in, and then we'll dig them over.
Great. Good plan.
It sounds clear?
Yeah.
So it's just digging holes
I'm ready.
in a straight line.
Yep.
Okay, let's go. You mentioned gardening a bit with your mum when you were a kid, and was that in Australia?
I was born in Australia, and then my parents moved to Los Angeles when I was a baby. Yeah, I grew up in LA. That's why I don't have an Australian accent. But my mom had a beautiful garden there. Yeah, she's really talented at gardening and landscaping, and I probably, I said I helped. I did some garden. I probably didn't do much.
You were there.
I was there. I remember planting some strawberries at some point.
Okay.
I found out recently my dad had some weed plants in the backyard.
Oh, nice. Very LA.
It was a luscious garden.
And was growing up in LA, I mean, I guess you don't know any different, but it seems to me a bit of a mad place to grow up. Did you find that?
It was a strange place to grow up. It's all I knew, but it was a wonderful city. Sorry, it's hard to concentrate on. What am I doing? How?
Digging holes.
Okay.
And I can see that your hole, let me have a quick look.
Is that hole okay?
Yeah.
Should be bigger?
It's okay.
What?
You've done the classic thing of what new people do when they dig a hole. Everyone does it. So it sounds so simple digging a hole, but you've sort of dug the hole sideways.
Oh.
So
Okay.
So see how out here,
Yeah.
it's kind of like this?
Yep.
You want to use the trowel like straight down and then go like this.
Oh.
Yeah.
But, okay.
Actually, trade trowels with me actually, because you've got a worse one than me.
Okay. So,
That's not a bad hole.
okay.
It's just not exactly right. You went back to Australia, and is that because of cane toads?
No, my dad made cane toads before we left for Los Angeles. It's a documentary that my dad made in the late 80s. Cane toads are an invasive species to Australia. I know a lot about cane toads. They were brought over from Hawaii to combat this thing called the cane beetle that was attacking all the sugarcane crops. And someone thought, the cane toad is gonna take care of this bug for them. And instead, they brought over some toads. The toads ignored the bug and they just took over Australia. And they are quite poisonous. They have these poison sacs. People hate the cane toads. They're a very contentious creature because, of the way they took over. It's more about people's relationship with the animals, with the toads and amphibians, than it is about just their history.
Growing up in a family where there's an interest beyond just like a casual interest in like sort of interesting stories and subcultures and film, sort of led you to whistling.
Yes, well, my parents have always been into these weird and wonderful. All of my dad's documentaries are about animals, but they're mainly animals. He's also done one about giant pumpkin competition. He did one about show cats and show ferrets, synchronized swimming, the hair Olympics in Russia, which is the hairstylists Olympics, where people are competing to do hairstyles. So yeah, he's into very niche subcultures of strange people. And so I saw a lot of documentaries growing up and a lot of kind of things like that. And one that my parents showed me was about this whistling competition. And that was my first realization that existed and that there were whistlers in the world who were, competing on this kind of level. And I kind of realized I was as good as them. So I was like, well, I gotta go one day and try it out. But I had nothing to compare myself to, It's like someone says that and you're like, okay, cool, thanks. But I'd never met another whistler. I'd never heard I'd never heard a professional whistler or somebody kind of doing it at that level or, So, yeah, that was the first time I could compare myself to others and realize that I was pretty good.
So what happened next once you realised that you had this quite exceptional talent for whistling, which is something that not even, it's a more everyday thing, I guess. But it's not something that everybody can do. I mean, I can't whistle. And it's certainly not something that everybody can do the way that you can. What did you do next?
My dad said to me when we saw this documentary, he said, if you ever get into that competition, I'll take you.
Where's the competition?
Well, it was in Louisburg, North Carolina, which, it's a very small town in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And
is that the competition?
It was. This was the International Whistling Competition, and this is the one that first started. It was the first whistling competition of its kind. But it isn't happening anymore. The founder died, and, it's kind of something people do for love. There are a couple other competitions now. There's one in Tokyo, and there's one in Los Angeles, the Masters of Musical Whistling. So, other competitions have sprung up, keeping the legacy alive. But yeah, the IWC is no longer. But yeah, my dad said, if you get in, I'll take you. And I think I was 15 or something, but I remember thinking one day I'll hold him to this. And when I finished school, when I finished university, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. And those words echoed through my head. And I looked up the competition online and my dad didn't realize this, but if you pay the entry fee, you get in. Anyone can get in. So I got in, and my dad took me there. We met in the U.S. He was in Australia. I was in Berlin at the time.
And how old are you at this point?
I was 22.
Okay.
And we met in Florida, and we bought a car. And we did a 3-month road trip around the United States with the competition as our main goal. It was amazing, but yeah, we went to that, and then we had this crazy American road trip together, and then sold the car in LA at the other end. But yeah, it was incredible.
And it doesn't matter, but did you win?
No, I didn't. It was my first time ever performing on stage, and I was so nervous. I think I came fourth. I did win a plaque for the whistler who traveled the greatest distance to get there, which that I think is worth way more than any trophy. That is the best thing I own to this day. But yeah, it was an amazing adventure.
It sounds brilliant. And I bet your dad had a great time too.
Yes, he did. We often reminisce about this trip together. It was really special.
And then since then, have you gone on to do more competitions, or is that not really your bag?
I have. Honestly, it isn't really my bag. Just because I don't believe in a whistling competition. Who's judging and how? What I love about whistling is the way, the soulfulness that goes into it, and the beauty of the sound, and it doesn't matter how complex it is. In the competitions, they really reward someone who's doing Flight of the Bumblebee or something.
And is that quite a complicated,
Oh, yeah,
okay.
Very complicated. So it's not really about the artistry, but I do love going because it's the only place I ever meet any other whistlers. And it's it's kind of amazing for me to be in this group of people and to meet these people from all around the world. And the one common denominator is that we are all good whistlers. It's a very kind of funny crew to be a part of.
I bet.
Yeah.
I think this was before we started recording, but you were talking about how you can't have a numb mouth when you're whistling. So no Szechuan peppercorns.
Yes.
And no alcohol.
Yes.
So is it very boozy? I mean, like, is it crazy?
No. No. First of all, there's like 30 people tops, and the age range is all over the place.
Would you say you're sort of the most like famous whistler in the world?
I guess so.
I think you might be.
I might be.
I think you might be.
Yeah.
I can't think of another one.
There are. I know the other whistlers, so like
Of
it's hard
course.
for me. But you know, and when I meet people, they often say that, but I just know it's because they don't know any other whistlers. My favorite whistler is Geert Chautreau, and he's released some records. He tours with Cirque du Soleil. His style is very different to me, but he's the most technically precise and the most beautiful tone. I really love Geert's whistling, and he's my whistle hero. But I don't think he is. I don't know how well known he is outside the whistle circles. But yeah, in the whistle circles, Geert is.
He's the one.
He's the one.
Tell me how it's different to your style.
Oh, I mean, I feel like I'm very dreamy, languid, like ethereal, long notes. Geert, you know, he's like a virtuosic musician. It sounds like a piccolo recorder. It's very, you know, his staccato and his range. I mean, he's way more technically brilliant. And yeah, it's very precise, and he has a larger range than me. He can go very low.
I was going to say, because that's very difficult when you whistle, no?
Low is hard for me.
How low can you go? I'm going to make you do it, sorry.
Hold on. I don't know. That's
Pretty low.
yeah, but that doesn't even sound like I wouldn't do that. Probably that. Yeah.
How high can you go? Sorry, but that's crazy.
I've always wanted to do a shtick at a show where I'm holding a like champagne glass and I hit a really high note and like ding. I don't know how to do that.
So how are you getting on with the hole digging?
5 holes.
It's not the straightest line I've ever seen.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's not, but they're pretty good holes.
They're great holes.
They're not sideways.
No, they're not sideways. They're straight down.
Am I digging more holes?
No, you now can take a pause on the holes.
Okay.
I'm going to finish this row here, just dig a couple more.
Okay.
You can take a pause, and I'm going to get you some compost.
Okay.
Here's one I prepared earlier.
Thank you.
This is literally just a bucket of compost.
Okay.
Just take a little handful of it, give it a bit of a zhuzh with the fork, because it's 2 types of compost. It's just your everyday garden compost mixed with leaf mould, which is just good for the soil. The leaf mould is, I think it's a bit too acidic on its own, but when it's mixed with the compost, it's good. Anyway, give it a bit of a mix like this.
Okay.
And then, yeah, clear your hole out like that, and then get a nice little handful, and you want to just cover the bottom of the hole. Give it a good sort of handful like that.
Wow, quite
in
a
each
lot.
one. And you can put them in all of the holes. That can be
Okay.
your job.
I'll be useful.
Yes, that would be very useful. We're making very good progress, though.
Okay.
Yeah, you were not straight, but you were not too slow.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
So what's the kind of like weirdest and most wonderful place that whistling has taken you so far in your life?
Oh, gosh. There's many. It's been a really wild adventure. I did a tour of New Zealand, 20 small towns across New Zealand. That was like towns called things like Paikakariki and Waipu.
Heaven.
That was pretty interesting. For some reason, whistling gets lumped into kind of like magic world adjacent. Mm-hmm. So I've done things in the magic world, and I once went to Dallas with a bunch of magicians to play in this like wealthy family who are obsessed with magic, like play in their home magic theater. and it was pretty weird and funny.
What, you were just whistling like as they did the magic?
They had like a variety show thing going on in their theater, and there were a bunch of magicians and me. They had science speakers and different kind of events like astronomy. Sorry, been in LA too long. And it was all kind of centered around this big solar eclipse that occurred a week or so ago. And we kind of got to see this momentous celestial event, which was pretty cool. I'd never seen one before.
I've seen one. I remember I saw one when I was a kid. I don't really remember it because when this big one happened recently, everyone was like, "Oh, you remember the one that we all watched?" And I thought, honestly, no. I know I saw it, but I don't remember it so well. Put the compost in all the holes. Have you done it in these ones?
Yes.
Let me just see how much is in there.
Sick.
You could be a bit more generous.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a bit more generous. We want the potato to kind of sit like just underneath. That's good, yeah.
Okay.
We want the potato to sit like here on the little bed of the compost, and we'll put a bit more on, and then we'll cover it over.
Okay.
So yeah, you want it to be...
Quite.
Yeah, cool. Just a big lump. That's great.
Cool.
Yeah, that's great. Potato time. So I've got to make a bit of a confession about the potatoes.
Uh-oh.
So they're over here in this wheelbarrow.
Okay.
They're a variety called Pentland Javelin potatoes, which is a nice new potato, quite waxy. Delicious, like boiled in a salad type thing. I mean, you can do anything with them, but they're very flavoursome. I'm going to ruin my garden reputation when I do this. A chitted potato, which is what it's called when a potato starts to sprout. A chitted potato, the chits should be very, very small like this. They should be very short.
These are really chitted.
They are extremely chitted.
Okay.
They will still work. It's just not like optimum. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 15 holes. So we should just pick out, and there's way too many potatoes. There's way more than 15.
So pick the least chitted.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just going to get the ones with really long chits and just slightly move them to the side. Like these two are just extremely long. Okay. Some of them are fine. These two are very long.
What about that? That doesn't even have a chit.
Oh, its chit broke off.
Oh, no.
Yeah, then that one's no go.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Is that a chit?
Yep, that's a chit. That's good. Okay. Yeah, these will be fine. These will be fine. Should I bring the wheelbarrow over?
Yeah.
No,
so.
Let's just bring the potatoes over.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just bring these over. They should be fine.
Okay.
And then, what we're going to do is put the potatoes in the hole. And you want the chit up.
Okay.
Like the chit will become a plant that will grow out of the earth. And then the other stuff will go down. If the potato has 2 chits, that looks great.
Yeah?
Yep.
What?
It just looks funny because it's got this very long thing sort of sticking up out of the potato.
That's a chit.
It's a chit. If it has 2 chits, break one off.
Okay.
Yeah. And then just, plop them in. Easy. I'm going to take my gloves off for this, actually. And then we will just cover them. This, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to put this in, hope it happens.
Uh-oh.
And then we will put a bit more compost in, and then we'll just dig them up and over. And we'll make some little ridges. And then that will be that. But the actual act of whistling, do you do that all the time? Or do you whistle? Have you sort of professionalized it now and you don't whistle as you work, as they say?
What do you mean?
Well, like, for example, I imagine if you were alone here planting these potatoes.
Oh, I'd be whistling.
That's what I would imagine.
Yeah. No, I love doing it. It's not a burden at all. It's something it's my connection to music. That's why I do it. But yeah, it's not like because I'm touring, I get home and I'm like, rest these weary lips, no more whistling. It still happens. Okay, wow, you did it.
I'm sorry, did I overtake it?
No, it's good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
There's more to do. So,
okay.
Yeah, don't worry. Now we've got to cover them. I'll just let you do this.
The compost bit?
Exactly. Okay. So just fill the holes pretty much to ground level. Like you're burying them now. If you were here alone and you were whistling, would you be whistling like a song, a pop song? Would you be whistling a melody that just comes to you? Would you be whistling your own songs?
I whistle what, like people would hum. It's whatever stuck in my head at the time, I guess.
Okay.
Like something that I'm thinking of.
Can you try and teach me?
Teach you?
Yeah.
You can't do it, right?
No.
Well, you taught me to plant potatoes, so I'll try.
Have you
And
ever
it
taught
also
someone?
involves holes. So there we go. I have tried to teach people, and this will be interesting.
Okay.
Okay, so basically, I feel like it's hard to teach whistling because everyone has their own way of doing it. Like our friend over here, who was a palate whistler, which is where you whistle with the roof of your mouth. I think your tongue is on the roof of your mouth rather than kind of below.
So is that when you whistle because you're a pucker whistler?
Yes. My lips are pursed.
Okay. And your tongue is where?
Well, my tongue is just below the tiny hole my lips are making. So, okay, make as small a hole as possible with your mouth.
Okay.
Purse your lips and make a small hole. Whoa, smaller. Purse them more. Whoa, what are you doing? It's hopeless. No.
Okay.
You want to try and make a tiny hole and then blow air out of that hole and kind of direct the air in a way with your tongue that might create a sound. Oh, yeah.
The tongue thing is a game changer.
Yeah. So you can use your tongue to make the hole wider or smaller, but small is best. You did it!
Something happened.
Yeah, we heard the whistle.
I'm a way off a tune,
Yeah,
but
but that's the first step. When you're here gardening, give
I'll
it
whistle a
a
little
go.
tune.
Yeah.
Snow White style.
Yeah.
I'll bridge a bit and then I'll show you what to do and then you can do it.
Okay.
Yeah? So you're sort of making like a little mountain like this. So you like hit the rake into the ground and then you pull the earth that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you're covering the center line is where the potatoes are. This earth is nice and soft, so it's quite easy to do. And then I'm going to do it on the other side as well, like this. And then you make a little ridge. Oh.
Oh.
Oh. Oh no.
It's a potato.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Okay, I know what's happened. I know what's happened to it.
Stop ridging
I know what's happened to
immediately.
it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Cut
oh my
the
goodness.
cameras.
Oh my goodness. Oh my
It's a
goodness.
disaster.
Okay, I know what's happened to it.
Okay.
I ignored where the potatoes were
Yeah. Uh-oh. How do we know where the potatoes are?
because I put the sticks there.
Okay.
You see why I was a bit like, oh, about the not straight
Yes,
lines, but
I see.
that's who cares? It was my fault that what.
Oh, well, you were talking and ridging, which is hard.
It's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard. This podcast is a bit flawed.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the line where the potatoes are. So
Okay.
I want to ridge onto that.
Okay. That poor potato.
That was awful to see.
That was
wasn't it?
awful. That poor naked little potato.
With its stupid long chip
Oh,
rolling
its
out the
long
ground.
shit flopping in the wind.
Is it annoying to make you whistle a tiny bit?
Sure. Let me think of a good gardening song. Any requests?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I was thinking the Snow White thing.
Oh, yeah. Whistle while you work.
The one that she whistles to
Oh.
the.
Someday my prince will come?
No,
Oh, which one?
she's like talking to the birds.
That one?
Now I don't know which one I mean. She's in the woods. She's talking to like.
Oh, no.
Maybe it is whistle while you work.
Oh. It's that one?
Yeah, it's that one.
Okay. I gotta do some working though.
Do a bit of original.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I was trying to, like, in time? Like,
It's really, really amazing.
Okay.
It's one of the most satisfying things. Someone whistling really beautifully. And also what's so nice about your whistle is it's quite gentle.
Thanks. I'm not calling a cab, you know?
No, you're not.
Yeah.
The show in New York, you had that amazing guy. Maybe you could tell.
Stephen Moglio. Yeah, so I guess, like, last year I was walking in Brooklyn. I passed this Italian street festival was going on, and I stopped in to walk around and check it out. And there was this Frank Sinatra impersonator. Well, actually, he doesn't call himself an impersonator. He's just, you know, he sings like Sinatra.
Like a tribute act.
Yeah, a tribute act. And he was in a beautiful tuxedo, and he had backing tracks, and he was doing a Sinatra act, and everyone there, he had a whole crowd. And I stayed for an hour. I stayed till he finished. He was incredible. He had an amazing voice, amazing stage presence. You know, if I can make it here, I'll make it where? And everyone just like, anywhere. You know, it was just so great. And so I was entranced, and I got his info, and I sent him an email because I was like, wow, that would be the best special guest ever if, you know, we bring out Stephen Moglio and he does some Sinatra songs with the band. And so I asked him if he'd be interested. I was kind of like, who knows?
And did you tell him, I'm Molly, I'm a whistler?
Yeah, I kind of sent him some info about me and some info about the show. And he was interested, and he invited me every Saturday night. He plays with an 11-piece band at a cigar club called the Carnegie Club. And so he invited me to come and check out him and his band. And my friend and I went, and I don't know if you've ever been to a cigar club, but it's like, it's pretty smoky, you know? After an hour, we're like dying. But it was amazing, like this whole 11-piece band and Steven, and he's walking around the little cocktail tables and singing, and he's just got such a good voice. And yeah, so he was down to come to my show and be our special guest, and it brought the house down. Like,
it was fabulous.
It was really fun.
It's a really like special thing that you've got going on with the live performances.
Oh,
it's
thanks,
not just,
Flo.
It feels like you're really at an old kind of show.
Oh, thank you.
It's the perfect energy.
Oh, well, you know, I mean, I guess I'd try to put together a show like the kind of show I would want to go to, or that would be amazing to stumble across. And, you know, when you see people like that, and I guess I'm also always concerned. I'm like, I don't want people to get sick of whistling. Like, I don't want to be there for an hour and a half, like, whistling. And I mean, not that, you know, because I
could sit for an hour and a half and listen to whistling.
Thanks. But I find that sometimes at shows where, you know, when sometimes sometimes all songs start to sound the same or something. And I don't know, I like to like break it up with special guests or different things, and just so, yeah, leave them wanting more.
And one day with your beautiful singing that you'll get to.
Oh yeah, with my, one song. I'll do one song.
I think we are finished. They look perfectly ridged.
They look great.
Yeah? You think so?
Yeah.
Well, you did a great job.
You did too. Thank you for teaching me everything I now know about planting potatoes.
Thank you for teaching me everything I know about whistling.
Hey!
What a beautiful exchange of ideas.
Yes!
That was great.
Wow, we did it.
We did it. We potatoed, we whistled.
Yeah, you whistled.
I whistled.